You ever notice how Democrats can just ask a question? They have to build a whole little viral trap with it hearing serious people at the table. And then, boom, here comes the gotcha scavenger hunt. What's how fast this guy goes from numbers to signal to a Kid Rock headline like his auditioning for MSNBC.
Secretary Hegseth, General Kane, Mr. Hurst, thank you for testifying today and for your service to the nation. Over the past few weeks, military and civilian leaders of many of the DoD components have testified about their FY27 posture. We appreciate their professionalism and their service to the country and the time that they've spent to testify before us. I want to start with Mr. Hurst. Mr. Hurst, you testified at the beginning of this that you said that the estimated cost of the war is about $25 billion. In March,
Okay, fine. Start with the man. That's what this is supposed to be. But I want you to clock the rhythm here. This isn't curiosity. This is a runway. He's bombing up the audience for a bigger acquisition he is going to spring in a second.
Yeah, the most intense phase of the conflict was obviously the beginning. That's when most munitions were used.
okay.
And that's the biggest expense from the war.
That's not a normal answer. Adult answer. Early phase costs more because you're burning munition. That's not scandal. That's how reality works.
You said just now that the $25 billion includes the cost of the munitions deployed. Is that right? This question is for the CFO, sir. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so I guess I'm confused then. It makes sense that if that's the cost, then the cost to refill those stocks would be no more than $25 billion. Am I right about that?
When we estimate cost of the conflict, we're using current replacement cost for these weapon systems.
Right, you're using current replacement costs. So it's frankly pretty surprising that the estimate for the supplemental would be $200 billion. You don't, if you'd like to explain that, you can, but.
But that's not accurate. We don't have an estimate for the cost.
Okay, that's.
There it is, publicly reported. That phrase is the magic one for these people. It means I heard a number somewhere and I want you to validate my narrative on camera. And when the witness says, no, that's not accurate, notice what happens. He doesn't stop. He just strides right past it like it didn't happen. Now was the hard left turn. This is where the clown car really pulls up.
Do you have Signal on your phone?
I'm sorry, why is this relevant?
Do you have Signal on your phone?
What does this have to do with the budget?
I'm going to take that as a yes. Mr. Kane, sorry, General Kane, do you have Signal on your phone?
I do, sir, yes.
Okay. So I want to talk about Signal. Last year, the Secretary and other administration officials discussed sensitive and almost certainly classified information about a strike in Yemen using the unclassified Signal app.
No, stop right there. You just buzzed it. Budget meant. Then, do you have Signal on your phone? Like his middle school hall monitor. And when Hust asked the obvious, why is this relevant? Whitesides doesn't answer. He just repeats the question. That's not oversight. That's a setup. He's not trying to understand policy. He's trying to force a clip. Witness admits. Signal. Classified scandal.
Policy for Signal on official DoD devices.
I'm the comptroller. I don't do CIO work.
So therefore, it is allowed? Is that your statement, that it is now allowed to have Signal on your device?
Mr. Whiteside, my statement is I run the budget for DOD.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's got it on his phone, so therefore it must be permitted.
Sir, I got to go back and look if it's on my official phone. I was talking about my personal phone. I'm not exactly sure. I'll go back.
This is the part that should make you furious. Is interrogating the budget guy like his IT director, then acting shocked when the budget guy says, I don't do CIO work. And the Democrat move is always the same. Well, if you can instantly certify policy on the spot, then I'll declare your silence as an admission. That's why people hate these hearings. Your botching language get weaponized in real time.
Ash Patel made a public announcement that Russian hackers are targeting Signal app users in the government, specifically stated that they were targeting individuals of high intelligence value, including current and former U.S. government officials. I hope that it is not official policy that you can have Signal on your official phones, and I would love to get a response from the department on that. We have now asked this question about 5 separate times and have never gotten a straight answer.
Listen to how this is built. Russia hackers high intelligence value. That's fear as a lever. It's not a question, it's a mood. He's trying to paint the whole panel as reckless without proving anything in the moment. And notice the trick. We've asked 5 times, not yet answer. Translation, I'm going to accuse you of hiding something, and I'm going to do it in a way where the accusation is the headline. All right, now it is a new cook, something splashy, something tabloid. Here it comes.
Helicopters. Mr. Secretary, I want to ask about the Army Apache helicopter that flew over Kid Rock's property on March 28th. An investigation was launched by the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade Command Leadership, but before that review is completed on March 31st, you terminated it via social media post. Did you personally direct?
Do you say but his ring? He couldn't land that $200 billion thing? He couldn't get the signal admission he wanted? So now it's Kid Rock. This is the modern democratic playbook in one claim. Punts from outrage to outrage until some team sticks to the ball and the press runs with it.
I did.
Okay. Now, the president.
And HEGSETH doesn't scream. He doesn't do the political warm routine. He says, I did. That's what decisive looks like. That's what the person looks like when they're not terrified of a Democrat trying to manufacture a scandal. Now, watch White Sides immediately try to rope Trump into it. Because of course he does.
And said they probably shouldn't have been doing it and that I'd take a look at it. So did you talk to the president before terminating that review?
Well, I don't relay what I talk about with
Okay,
the
I think
president.
unfortunately that means that you did talk to him, which in turn means that you've just confirmed that the president himself overruled the leadership of the 100.
This is where it gets disgusting. HEGSETH sets a normal boundary. He's not going to sit there and narrate private conversations with the president. That's standard. That's not a confession of anything. And Whitesides goes, well, since you won't tell me, I'm going to announce what happened anyway. That's not logic. That's not evidence. That's a smear built out of refusal to play his little game. He's doing create the confusion first, then force the witnesses to validate it.
Have affirmed
not what I said.
repeatedly the need for higher standards and higher accountability at every level of your agency. Commanders rely on established processes to uphold these standards. How does canceling a command-initiated review by the 101st Airborne leadership support a culture of accountability? Actually, I think I'll ask that of the chairman.
Sir, back to my earlier comments about the importance in my role of staying in the middle. What you're alluding to is, in my assessment, with deep respect for your ask, is a partisan question, and I think it would be inappropriate.
Good. That's professionalism. General then Ken sees the trap. Answer it, and you're dragged into partition food 5. Refuse, and this scream, cover up. And he chooses the only sane option, and not doing your politics for you. That's what Democrats hate. They hate when serious people refuse to become pros.
Sir, I actually don't think it is. I think it is actually a very fundamental principle of accountability in our department, and I think it was the wrong decision. I'm going to close by just saying one thing. Mr. Secretary, you started this hearing by politicizing it, and I want to make one point. Poll after poll shows that the American public does not support this war, and support is dropping every day. We are all representing our constituents, which is our constitutional duty. And to state that we are politicizing it is an affront to Congress and every member in this.
There it is. Did Piber, to moral theater, take and prove the signal angle? He couldn't substantiate the publicly reported money bump. He couldn't force a Trump cure. So now it's polls. Affront, constitution. You politicized it. They always do this. When the draft doesn't snap, they start yelling about the draft like it's your fault. Also, notice how he tries to make public support for one the emotional weapon. Because if we can't win on facts in the room, he tried to win on vibes outside the room. And this next line is the whole claim. This is where mass comes off.
House, and I yield back.
You
my
are
time.
politicizing it, Congressman.
Thank you. That's the only honest sentence said in the last minute. Because we was a Democrat stack topics like a BuzzFeed listicle. War cost mad. signal panning, Russia's scare, kid drop property, implied Trump interference, polls, and outrage. That's not governing. That is not oversight. That is content production designed to accuse, insinuate, and clip with for social media. Here's what I want you to take from this. The serious people in the room kept trying to stay in their lane. Budget answers from the budget guy, military neutrality from the chairman, executive boundaries from the secretary, and the Democrat on the other side kept trying to turn every inch of oxygen into a headline. And when that didn't work, he tried to reverse it and claim the hearing was being politicized by the guy refusing to play the game. No, the politicization is the pivot step. The insinuation, the I'll take that as a yes, the publicly reported grenade that forced conclusions. That's why people are sick of Washington, because too many of these folks don't show up to get answers. They show up to manufacture a narrative. And did think you won't notice the difference. HEGSETH noticed. Tain noticed. You noticed.